In this video, I want to talk about a pattern which has been used in Rugby League for years and now been fully adopted by Rugby Union, the blocker pattern. Look at this move by Harlequins versus Bristol in the Premiership semi-final. A few simple passes lead to a break right through the middle of the Bristol defence. This move might look a little bit complicated at first glance, but it's actually just one simple pattern that's run twice in a row. So, let's get right into it. I'm going to break this video down into 4 sections to explain this attacking pattern. Why do you need to run attacking patterns? What is the blocker pattern? How to run the blocker pattern? And finally, how the professionals are doing it, stacking blocker patterns. So, why do you need to run attacking patterns? For the defence in rugby, they are typically a player or two outnumbered in the defensive line, as they need to have a couple players defending the backfield from kicks. See my video about the pendulum defence to learn more about this. This means the attack will have an overlap. You might think that just running straight and passing it out is a good strategy for exploiting this overlap. However, a good defence will just let you play deep, pass the ball along the line and then drift across to cover the overlap. Or, if the attack is trying to draw each defender aggressively, make them commit, then pass it out wide, the defence can simply blitz up hard and cut out the option for the pass. So, what a good attacking side will look to do is run patterns of play, such as switches, loops or miss passes, all trying to trick the defence, overload an individual defender and create gaps to exploit. And that is exactly what the blocker pattern is designed to do. What is the blocker pattern? So let's look at a simple example of the blocker pattern from a disallowed New Zealand try against Ireland. If we look when the first receiver gets the ball, with a good defensive drift, there should be no chance to score. But if we follow it forward, you can see the Irish defence has no chance to drift across. The 13 fixes the defender directly in front of him so that they can't drift out. The number 20 for New Zealand runs the blocker line, attacking just inside the Ireland's number 9. Meanwhile, the New Zealand 15 loops around the back of the crashing 20 to offer an option out the back. This is the blocker pattern. The Irish number 9 now either has to commit to the 20 and hope the ball doesn't go to the 15, or commit to the looping 15 and hope that the inside defender does drift across to take the 20. In this case, the ball went to the player running the blocker line, but here's an example from England versus Ireland, where the loop option is taken, leading to an easy try. Once again, the ball carrier fixes their defender. The blocker runs a hard line, attacking just inside their opposite man, and the third man loops around the back, exploiting the space. How to run the blocker pattern. When this works, it looks very simple. However, the key to this is the timing of the 3 attacking players, as defenders can break up this attacking move by being allowed to drift. Firstly, if the number 10 doesn't fix the 7, the 7 will simply drift across and cover the blocking line. Secondly, the blocker runner, the 13, must angle their run only slightly inside the number 8. This means that they're running at the gap if the defence does drift. The 13, as the blocker runner, needs to time this perfectly so that they're at the gain line just as the 10 is looking to pass. This will force the 8 to make a decision about defending the 12 or the 13. All the 10 needs to do is pick the right option. The looping runner, the 12, needs to time and angle their run so they're deep enough for the 10 to be able to pass the ball to them, but also not so deep that the defending 8 can switch their attention from the 13 to the 12 and cover both options. So now you understand the blocking pattern. Let's have a look at how this is being actively used in the professional game. Stacking blocker patterns. So, in the professional game, this pattern is used a lot, but not in isolation. Typically, the blocker pattern will be used twice in a row, giving much more chances for the defence to not be able to drift, and therefore exploiting that overlap. From the first blocker pattern, if the ball goes to the looping player, they then become the ball carrier and decision maker for the second blocker pattern. Here, for England, you can see the first blocker pattern works well at stalling the drift. The remaining Scottish players are on their heels and simply just have to make a decision about who they're going to tackle, as no support is coming from their inside. Another example of England using stacked blocker patterns is here against Ireland. The Irish defence do well covering all the options in the blocker pattern. However, as there's no drift defence, England are easily able to get the ball out wide and exploit the overlap. The stacking of blocker patterns is exactly what is used by Harlequins at the start of this video. The first blocker line goes out the back to the looping runner, the second goes to the blocker line itself. A move which from the defensive point of view looks very complicated and difficult to track is simply just two of these blocker patterns run back to back. The blocker pattern is used so frequently at top level rugby. Now that you're aware of it, you'll be surprised how frequently you see it crop up at top level rugby. You can even see the blocker pattern put to use in my video on the most popular backs move. Thanks very much for watching. If you want to make your own rugby animations, please head over to animator.rugbyslate.com, and if you want to learn more, please check out my other videos and consider subscribing.